Why is retail access to central bank currency important? Well, traditionally, there's two types of central bank currency: the wholesale and retail. Wholesale central bank currency is a bit more easy to understand. It's used by financial institutions and large corporates for the types of movements of money that you would normally have done at the central bank. So not really that much different. There's some advantages in terms of international trade, etc. But basically it's the same as reserve accounts at central bank. For a retail customer, it's a little bit different because as we talked about, cash is the only way that most people can access central bank money. So from a retail point of view, being able to use an electronic instrument instead of physical cash obviously has some advantages, but for most of those things you could just use commercial bank funds. The real advantage for a retail customer comes in security and understanding the long-term value of that currency. So if you store cash, if you have cash under the mattress, over time that's getting devalued. Because you're not getting any interest on it. The £10 note under your mattress is still a £10 note in 5 years, 10 years' time. Hasn't had any interest on it at all. And with the CBDC, with an electronic version, there is the opportunity to give interest on those accounts, so that you could have the equivalent of cash as a digital currency, but still get interest on it. But that's something that's a matter of debate, and to be honest, the decisions haven't been made about whether that's going to be the case or not, whether it's going to bear interest or not. But really, it's about giving customers or retail customers access to central bank funds in the absence of cash. So there are a number of factors that would make a CBDC successful. And they range from the obvious ones, like it's got to be able to be usable. You've got to be able to go to the shop and use it for the purpose that you would normally use cash. It's got to be secure, so there can't be a risk of I've got my £100 equivalent in CBDC and somebody steals it easily because it's an electronic format rather than money in my wallet. So it has to be secure. It has to be entirely reliable. So if there is a power outage or a cyber attack or something, the infrastructure that supports this new digital currency needs to be robust and needs to work and needs to stay functioning. But really, what it comes down to is there's loads of things that would help making it a success. But actually, what it really comes down to, in our opinion, is what's in it for the consumer. Why would I want to use it as a new form of currency? And that has to be more than it's just a bit more convenient than cash. There has to be reasons for using it, and whether that's reduced fees because actually there's no Visa and MasterCard network that's involved in the process, whether it's security, whether it's interest bearing, there needs to be some way of persuading the consumer that it's a good idea for them to use. And until that sort of killer incentive comes along, we think that a number of the other debates that are happening at the moment about whether things should be centralised or tokenised or whatever are fairly moot points at the moment. Obviously, this is a new CBDC is a new concept, and we think there are probably a number of pitfalls that might occur in building it, and as well as the sort of making sure that it's usable and widely adopted, etc. There's also some of the challenges that are involved in basing this kind of solution on technology. So, users of the technology need to be confident that the thing that works today is going to work tomorrow and is going to work the day after. So, cash, for all its faults, has been, used since Mesopotamian times. It's been a fairly stable tool, and people understand how it works and how they can use it. CBDC needs to give the same level of confidence to the consumer that it's going to continue to be able to be used. And then also from a technology point of view, there's been a lot of debates about what type of distributed ledger technology to use, and what cryptography needs to be included in a CBDC and so on. But actually, the thing for us that really needs to be looked at is how do I avoid the dead ends, potentially, of some of these technology choices? Nobody can predict the future with entire accuracy. In fact, that's probably one of the only future predictions that you can have, that nobody can predict the future. So whatever we choose from a technology point of view, we need to be able to, we use the phrase remint the central bank digital currency, i.e. pick a new technology path if we need to. And so the important thing is that whatever we pick as the tooling for this needs to be, as commoditized and modular and swappable as we possibly can, which is the same approach we take to almost all our sort of modern IT infrastructure architecture questions. In summary, the debate about CBDC at the moment is very heavily weighted towards the technology choices, questions about whether or not there should be an account-based infrastructure, or whether it should be token-based, or whether it should be distributed, or whether it should be centralised. And actually, we think that the debate really needs, in order for this to be successful, the debate really needs to come back to the fundamentals of what is it that this CBDC needs to do? What are the advantages of this CBDC for the users? Yeah, why would I want to use it? We think that things like anonymous transactions are incredibly important to have in this new structure, because in order for people to have faith in using it, yeah, there's got to be they've got to have confidence that this isn't just a way of tracking every purchase and movement that they make. So we think actually anonymity to a certain scale is really important. Yeah. We also think that distributed ledger technology, for instance, is not there yet for this kind of thing. So we think that a centralised model for this kind of service is really, really important. But again, I come back to the point: whatever happens with the technology, it needs to be something that is usable by the end user. It needs to be something that gives them some real advantage, and it needs to be something that's future-proof.